Hi everyone, and welcome to the online edition of Lightbox. So the video you're looking at is part of a course that I have created for Schoolism, which is called Daily Painting Workout. And in this course, for the duration of 9 weeks, I will be doing exercises, and the idea is for you to paint along with me. Each week has a different topic, and the course lasts for 9 weeks. So by the end of the course, you will have painted 63 exercises. So these are available for you to try out, and should you like it, you can go over to schoolism.com and subscribe to my course and do the other exercises as well. For now, enjoy, have fun, and enjoy Lightbox.
Hi, my name is Wouter Tulp, and I'd like to welcome you to my digital painting workout course. Just like athletes, an artist needs to work out to keep up their skills, and that is what I created this 9-week daily exercises for. We'll paint from reference, and every day we'll do an exercise of about 30 minutes. A painting consists of different components such as value, color, edges, texture, design, and so on. Every week, we'll focus on one of these components of painting and do exercises. The course is called Digital Painting because I paint all the examples in Photoshop. At the same time, I try to focus mostly on principles rather than specific Photoshop techniques. So if you want to do the exercises using traditional media, that's just fine. The course lets you both acquire new knowledge and repeat the painting process so it becomes second nature. At the beginning of the course, I focus on many subjects, from landscape to still life to portraits, and as we progress, we'll focus more and more on portraits. With the limited time of about 30 minutes, it's a manageable subject and offers endless possibilities in our painting approach. The course lasts a total of 9 weeks, and we'll do exercises every day, which means that by the end of this course, you will have painted 63 paintings. The brushes I use are standard Photoshop brushes, and they're also available to download. You can also use brushes that are more or less similar. You can paint along with me and use the same reference, but if you want, you can also do the exercises using your own reference. I hope this introduction got you just as excited as I am. So let's do some painting workout. Hi, and welcome to another painting workout session. So today we are going to play with edges again, and this time I just want to start an experiment. What would happen if we decide to, we did something similar already, where we exaggerated all the lost edges, and this is more like, okay, can we just create appeal by losing some of the edges completely or softening? Just let's see what happens if we start to be creative and using edges as just a tool that we can use in our design process. So first I'll just start and do some sketching. As usual, I love to put some exaggeration in there. So really thinking of shapes here. So and when I look at this and thinking of this concept, where we want to use edges, soft edges, hard edges, lost edges. I feel like, areas like this, they have really hard edges and become really graphic, but also she has a yellow jacket in front of a yellow background, and that's something where I feel I could have edges be completely lost. And then, so let's see, and then in the face, that's really an area where I could play a little more with softer edges, have a more natural look to it. So let's see what happens if we apply that. So I think I'll start with the hair, being that red, dark, almost black color. really a graphic shape. I'll just start having it all with hard edges, but looking at it, I really love that how that red is blending with the background, so I'll definitely use that in the design as well. Just filling this area completely, not focusing on all the variation of values that's in there. Just, you know, putting down the graphic value of it, graphic idea of it. I don't, well, also literally the value, but I mean more as a design, what it represents. So that's a really hard edge. Let's see if we add a little bit of that red color. Before I continue, I'll just wait with that because well, this could be an area where I want to already place it, but I want to wait with that to fully put those elements in there because I don't know yet where I want to go with that. So we'll just leave it like this for now, really rough, just to get an idea of what this could be. And then for the jacket, you know, it's funny because I feel like I may not need a lot to show the jacket. Maybe I want to have something here. Maybe I want to lose everything else, just those places where I can see some accents. Let your mind fill in the blanks. Not entirely sure yet, but again, you know, when you come up with these ideas, you just have to try them out to see if they work, if what you have in your mind actually works when you turn it into a drawing or a painting. So here we have really soft edges. Can you see the difference in form shadow and cast shadow that I'm applying here? Something we went over before. Not sure about this yet. Well, let's just leave it like this for now, so we don't lose too much time. We want to focus on other stuff as well. And also, we may be able to judge better what we're doing when the rest of the image starts to take form. Maybe something like that. Maybe we don't need that whole line going all the way to the bottom. Maybe we just need something like this. Maybe we don't even need this, you know. Sometimes less is more. So it's something to figure out while you're painting. Okay, so let's fill in the value for the face. I want to go quite warm, because even though we see that red coloring, you know, with all the yellow surrounding it, very easily it'll start to look too pale. As you can see, you know, if I would use this, as you know, it's more like it feels, but that's really pale. Don't be afraid to paint on top of lines where you sketched out your design. If you can draw that sketch, you can also draw it again. And I'm trying to make it transparent enough to still see what's underneath. So here in this area, this is where I want to use mostly soft edges. So every soft edge that I see, I want to take and I want to push that even more. But before I do that, what I'll do is, you know, fill in the basic structure of what I see. Maybe a little more towards red. Once you have that overall value, color in place, it's easier to adjust and adapt to the right color. But it is challenging to paint on top of a completely yellow surface, because it affects all the colors that you put on there. lightening the value and maybe even lose edges there completely. If I push this a little bit, I can have this place where I lose the value and then bring it back right here. I mean, I said value, I meant edge, where I lose the edge completely. Sorry. So already starting to have in mind that I want these edges to be soft. And just experimenting, I'm just trying out, does it work if I show the hair? And I do think that it will work simply because a lot of the area of the hair is black, is a graphic shape. So I don't need a lot of details to really create the illusion that there is a lot of hair, that it has volume and put that subtlety in there. So that's why I decide to include that. Like this, we just need a few hairs to create that illusion. Within that bigger brush stroke that I put there, I don't need to put in all these individual hairs anymore. I can just soften the edge and create that illusion. In fact, we don't see all the individual hairs. So putting some lighter value in the eye, which can be challenging because you don't want that to be too bright. It will really look unnatural because that eyelid, a lot of shadow drops on the eyeball itself, so we don't see the white of the eye as actual white. Even though we call it the white of the eye, it clearly isn't pure white. So softening the edges here. That was what I set out to do. Soften the edges in the face. So now I need to make sure that this doesn't look like a beard. So I'll have these lines continue there. And create some transition here for the chin. And here, these values, these edges, they can be much softer. So it really looks like hair. Lose these. Want to focus on the angle. So this drops down at this angle. Then we have this lock of hair going in like this. And so, this line, this curve, this straight, all those are, are in a different direction, and that creates a variation in my design. And it would look much more boring, dull, if I would make all those lines go in the exact same direction. That's not what we see, but I pushed it a little more than we see it actually, because it may not be what we see in reality, but as a design, it works better if we look at it like that. Pushing that feel of gravity where the hair is hanging over the jacket. So let's see how we can solve this, because these hairs, they kind of just stop in midair, which looks a little strange to me. It may be the case in the actual reference, but it does look a little strange to me. So maybe I can combine them and have them go into the big mass of hair, so at least it doesn't feel so strange. It's starting to look better. Looking for shapes that are appealing, just like I mentioned here, where I want all those lines to work together. I'm looking for shapes that are appealing. Where do I want to push darkness? Where do I want to push harder edges? Where do I want to push softer edges? Because in the end, it's about the design. It's about the painting that I create. That's what will remain. We won't look at the reference anymore when the painting is finished. We'll just have the painting to look at. So that's what we need to focus on, are the design choices that I make supporting the story I want to tell in this painting. So let's have a look at the lips and the nose as well. I feel like they need some work. Softening the edges. So 7 minutes left. So what I do, as I always try to do if I don't forget, is to step back and have a look at, what does still need work. I think the lower lip, I think this area looks a little too, too much contrast in the values. The lower lip needs some work. Basically, the upper lip does too. Let's see. So soften all the edges. Then we have the lower lip right here. She has more fuller lips than the way I painted them so far. Maybe I could still lose a little edge there if I have the highlight. Well, there is not really a highlight there, but I could just see if it works if I just put it there and lose the edge into the background. Whenever I can, I want to do that and stay true to my idea of softening the edges in the face as much as possible without, losing track of creating an appealing painting, of course. So softening the edges there. If I don't soften the edges there, maybe even more than in other places, then this will become an area where suddenly I have hard edges and my attention will be drawn to that area. That's something that I don't want to happen. Now this is too grayish, so it looks almost like a mustache. That's something that I don't want to happen there. So add a little more coloring in there. Softening the edges here a little bit. Lighten this a little bit. There's more highlights there. Don't want to overdo this in terms of highlights, but I do feel that it's a little brighter than I painted so far. So I do feel that lost edge right there isn't really working out. Um, Maybe it should be much harder so at least I see where the edge of the lip is. There you go. So I think that is good enough for the lips for, looking at the whole image and the time we have and what it needs to belong to in terms of the rest of the image. So just focusing on, do I see elements in my painting where I feel there's too much detail, where the edges are too hard, where the edges are too soft, where the edges draw attention that I don't want them to. That's what I'm looking at right now, trying to make sure that those areas are in balance with the rest of the image. So maybe add some attention here. Soften this a little bit. There you go. So now this is a nice, I like this pointy shape right here, because now we really have this line. Oh, now I'm erasing it, but we really have this graphic shape, pointy line, really hard edged. It's really pointy. I have that yellow, this darker yellow line next to it to soften it a little bit. I think that makes it a little more appealing to look at. Otherwise, it would be a really hard edged line. I could even choose to draw lines like that. It makes it a 1980s kind of feel. But things like that, you can play around with such graphic elements, or maybe do it the opposite. Here with the color of the background, create those lines in there. That's really playing with hard and soft edges. And then maybe we could do the same thing here as well. Have a little line out there. Carve that out a little bit. Makes it a little more graphic. I kind of like that, actually. What I'm doing with that is also looking at the visual language of this particular image. I create this language, graphic style, hard edges, soft edges, and within that style certain shapes belong, other shapes don't belong. For example, what I'm doing now, trying to see, can I make this look more like hair, but still make it feel like it belongs to that same visual graphic language. I think this just helps a little bit to make it feel more natural. But overall, that's what I do. I try to look at the entire image and see, are there elements that need work? Are there elements that are out of place? Are there elements that feel like they don't belong in this image, or they draw too much attention? And for that reason, I choose what I do with that. So, for example, these little lines, they are sharp, but they form a bigger contrast to the softness of the face. So you try to find some kind of balance within an image. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll focus on painting a portrait of the back of someone's head, where we can only basically see the hair. And as a result, we need to clearly observe the edges that we see. Are these hard or soft edges? And that difference gives us clarity in the image. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'll see you tomorrow.